Hey again, everybody, welcome back to Battlestar Galactica Remembered, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to clue you in on, kind of my BSG story, how I got involved in Battlestar and all that from the very beginning. But more importantly, at the end there, I want you all to get involved. Everybody who watches this episode, I want you to put down in the comments, how did you get involved with Battlestar Galactica? Were you an original watching it every week in 1978? Or did you come across it later? That's even more interesting, to tell you the truth. If not, because you didn't have a lot of options of watching Battlestar throughout the 80s and into the 90s. How did you get into it if you did not watch it in the very beginning? And so my story goes, as you all know, if you've watched my early episodes, I was 10 years old. I had just turned 10 that summer of 1978. And I knew Battlestar was coming. After all the Star Wars stuff, right? A lot of the buzz. Well, you started hearing about Battlestar Galactica. This new show, it's a TV show, was coming. And it was going to be awesome. And you see the pictures and the costumes and all that. By the way, this is my JK2 jacket, what I consider my #1 costume jacket. And I'll have an in-depth review of this one coming up soon, by the way. But anyway, so I knew it. There was articles, Starlog, and you even hear about, there was articles in TV Guide, People, Newsweek, all these mainstream magazines about Battlestar Galactica, and it was huge. And so apparently, I don't know, I must have tapped into that, and I knew it was coming. Because on September 17, 1978, I was there. I put it on the calendar. I was sitting in front of the TV, and we watched it. I guess most members of my family watched it, and it just blew me away. I mean, the special effects, the Viper, the Cylons were so creepy, weird. Awesome, though. And then, of course, oh my goodness, Apollo, Starbuck, and the Battlestar, and it was amazing. And I've always said, and I think a lot of you would agree with me, and I look at my statistics, my analytics of my channel here, and almost 90-something% of you are all about my age, okay. So yeah, I think there was something really magical about being around that age, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, in 77, 78, when Star Wars and Battlestar came out. It was just amazing. And I've always said, I think I was the perfect age to watching Star Wars and Battlestar at 9 and 10 years old. I mean, oh my goodness, I had such a fun time. I got all the figures. I had all the toys. I did everything. It was awesome. And just so devastated when it didn't come back. Got Galactica 1980. And I watched every episode of Galactica 1980. But, yeah, along with everybody else, I was like, oh, okay, well, all right. I'll watch this. And then that was it. And it was gone. And so, in a way, the way that all worked out is kind of like, it kept you just wanting more, what could have been, right? And it always kept that fire alive, even though, it waned quite a bit until 1998. And I encourage you, go back to my very first video, and I tell you why 1998 was a crucial year. It was because, Sci-Fi Channel was airing Battlestar. Richard Hatch had come out with the first continuation novel. He was getting ready to do his Second Coming trailer and the continuation and all that stuff. And so that's what happened there, and it kind of relit the fire at that point. But that's how I got into it. And that's it. From that day, I have always said Battlestar Galactica is my all-time favorite television show. Bar none, period. And still is to this day. That's why I'm doing a show about it, because I just want to talk about it. And I love it. And hopefully all of you all do too. So now I want to turn it over to you all. Put down in the comments, just briefly, were you an original? Did you watch it? What did you like about it? And I also want to hear your story. If you didn't watch it, if you were not born yet or something, how did you get into Battlestar later? That's an interesting story, because that would be kind of fun to hear your story about that and how you got into the show. So anyway, that's what it is. My BSG story and your BSG story as well here on Battlestar Galactica Remembered. And that's why we're remembering this awesome show. Long live Battlestar Galactica, and I will see you in the next video.